Good morning. Today we are going to talk about public goods. What's meant by a public good? Let's take an example of roads, national defense, environmental protection, and many other goods like this. Do you think these goods can be sold easily in the market? Are you going to pay money in order to use a road or to get the services of national defense? Actually, they can't be sold as easily in markets for the exclusive benefit of the consumers. For simplicity, I'm not going to pay I'm not going to pay for a service whose benefit is going to be divided between different number of people, not only for me. This means that production and sale of these commodities would be accompanied by positive externalities. So this means that these goods has an external benefit to a large number of third parties as well. So we can define public goods as goods with benefits that can't be withheld from those who don't pay and are shared by large groups of consumers. So we can define public goods as goods with benefits that can be excluded from those who are not going to pay for it, and the benefit of these commodities are shared between large number of people. So we can divide all goods to private goods and public goods. Private goods is the opposite of the public goods. which means that you have to pay in order to get this commodity. Private goods may be associated with positive externalities or negative, or there is no externalities at all. What are the main characteristics of public goods and private goods? Number one, public goods are non-rival in consumption. Non-rival means a given quantity of a public good can be enjoyed by more than one individual. Without decreasing the amount enjoyed by other people. Say, for example, the benefits of national defense are non-rival. When the population of a nation increases, no citizen suffers from a reduction of the quantity of national defense. Number two, non-excludable. Non-excludable means that it's too costly to exclude those who refuse to pay from enjoying the benefit. It's too costly to exclude those who refused to pay from enjoying the benefits of these commodities. For example, those who refuse to pay for cleaner air can't be excluded from enjoying the benefit of a given amount of air quality improvement. So this means if the government take actions in order to improve air quality and a group of people refuse to pay for this, we cannot exclude them from consuming the better air or the higher quality air. So pure public goods are non-rival in consumption, non-excludable. There are also a special case of pure public bads, not goods, bads. Pure public bads are activities with external negative impact, negative externality. So in general, we are going to talk about public goods, not public bads, but in order to know the concept of public bads, Public bads are commodities with negative externality. Say, for example, air pollution is a pure public bad if pollutants diffused in the atmosphere. What is the marginal cost of production and distribution of pure public goods? In case of a pure public good, the marginal cost of consuming one additional unit or allowing one more individual to use it, this is number of consumers, and this is cost. So the marginal cost of distributing this commodity after the first person will be 0. So this is 200. So as long as you produce this commodity, you are going to pay 200. Anyone who is going to use this commodity after that point will cost 0. So the marginal cost of allowing an additional person to consume the pure public good is 0. What about the marginal cost of producing pure public good? This is units of pure public good, and this is cost. The marginal cost of producing is always positive. So say, for example, that the marginal cost is 200. So as long as you produce an additional unit, you are going to pay a fixed amount of 200. So this is the marginal cost. So here we have to differentiate between marginal cost of distribution and marginal cost of production. With respect to distribution, any additional person who is going to consume this commodity after the first one, it will be 0. marginal cost for any additional individual who is going to consume the commodity after the first one is zero. While with respect to production, marginal cost of producing any unit is positive. Let's take an example in order to be able to understand. But before this, what's pure private good? And then we have to take an example in order to compare between pure public good and the pure private good. What's pure private goods? Pure private goods are the inverse of pure public goods. As we said, in case of pure public goods, they are non-rival, non-excludable. In case of pure private goods, they are rival and excludable. Rival means consumption by one will affect the quantity available to others. And excludable means if you are not going to pay for this commodity, you can be excluded from consuming it. Okay, let's take an example in order to be able to understand the difference between private goods and the public goods. There are a number of people lived in a room. Decisions made in that room affect only those in the room. Say there are 10 individuals. Each day, the room receives fixed quantity of bread and certain amount of fuel for heat. The bread is a pure private good. As let's assume that this quantity is 10. If an individual consumes 2 loaves of bread, the quantity available to other will decrease. Okay, so bread is pure private good. While with respect to fuel, it's a pure public good. as we cannot exclude one from the 10 individual from getting the benefit of heating the room. Also, with respect to bread, people have to pay in order to get the bread. So bread is a pure private good, excludable and rival, while fuel is a pure public good, non-excludable and non-rival. By the way, this is in our example. It's not a general case. There are additional two different types of public goods: congestible public goods and the price excludable public goods. We can call both of them quasi-public goods. What are congestible public goods? Congestible public goods are those for which crowding reduces the benefit to existing consumers. So the marginal cost of accommodating an additional consumer is not zero in this case, after the point of congestion. Okay, let's illustrate this graphical. We would like to identify the marginal cost of distribution, just like the marginal cost of distribution in case of private goods. In case of congestible public goods, it will be this is number of consumers and this is the marginal cost. In case of pure public goods, after the first individual, it will be zero. But in case of congestible public goods, after the crowding point or congestion point, the marginal cost is no longer zero and it's gonna be positive. So this is the point of congestion. This is the case of congestible public goods. After n users of the road, the marginal cost of allowing an additional user becomes positive. Example for this is roads during rush hour. Okay, what about price excludable public goods? Are those with benefits that can be priced. Clubs are set up to share facilities, tennis courts, swimming pools, something like that. But we can price the services provided by them. So they are price excludable public goods. You are going to be excluded if you are not going to pay for it. So now we can differentiate between four different types of commodities: pure public goods, pure private goods, congestible public goods, and price excludable public goods. Next time we are going to talk about demand curve for both of them and what is the free rider problem. Thank you. See you next time.